Welcome back to the Freedom First podcast. We are your hosts, Blaine Smotherman
and Eric Hearn.
This episode is brought to you in part by Jeffries Firearms Training.
Shooters making shooters. For more information, contact owner Ronnie Jeffries on Instagram at Jeffries Firearms Training.
Are you looking for a wide variety of firearms, ammunition, and equipment? NAG Industries is a premium, local, veteran, and family-owned company in Bakersfield, California. They offer expertise in sales, repair, enhancement, and service of a wide variety of firearms, ammunition, and equipment with a focus on law enforcement and government agencies. For more information, you can visit them on Instagram at in.a.g_industries, through email info@nagindustries.com, or you can give them a call at 661-364-9726. NAG Industries, pride in what we do. Welcome. You have now entered the Freedom First podcast,
where we have conversations with some of the most interesting human beings on the planet.
People who live and breathe in Freedom First mentality. On this week's episode, we have a former high school state wrestling champion out of Porterville High School in Porterville, California, where he wrestled under Olympian Tim Vanni. He was the first ever featherweight Bellator World Champion. He went on to become a two-time NJCAA Junior College All-American, where he was both roommates and teammates with former UFC champ John Jones and current UFC fighter Colby Covington. He was signed with the UFC, and one of his most notable fights was when he stepped in last minute's notice the night before to fill in for Renan Barão, who had a hard weight cut. He filled in against TJ Dillashaw in the UFC's main event on the biggest stage in the world. He has a black belt under Dave Terrell. He recently opened up a gym in Porterville called SinCal Sports and Fitness. He's been a champion in multiple organizations. He's fought at Tachi Palace. He was a champion in Bellator. And he had a lot of epic fights in the UFC. We're so excited to have him on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Soto. All right, welcome to the show, Joe. I appreciate you coming on, and I'm excited to get this conversation started today. And just thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, so on the Freedom First podcast, we start off with the Freedom Minute, and it's just basically some rapid fire questions to get us warmed up and fired up here. So the first one is, what is the most memorable fight in your career?
The TJ Dillashaw fight would be the most memorable, I think. I mean, that's what everybody kind of brings up every time I see somebody, or they always bring up that fight, saying I did a good job, and it was just an awesome experience. Fighting for the UFC belt. My first fight. It was surreal, and that was the most memorable moment. It was fun.
Yeah, I want to get into that later, just like the process leading up to it and whatnot. So the second one is, what is your dream fight? Like, so if you could fight any combat sports athlete from any time period, boxing, MMA, wrestling, who would it be?
I think Bruce Lee. I was thinking about that, and I was like, he would most likely be around my weight class too. I think he would walked around on 140, 135, I think. And he's a big star. He started mixed martial arts, kind of.
Yeah.
So that'd be a cool fight. And I've grew up watching Bruce Lee movies. That's kind of what got me into fighting or intrigued into martial arts.
Have you watched that documentary? What's it called? Is it Water?
I haven't seen it.
No, on ESPN.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it a little bit. It's pretty good. And I've read I think I have one of his books somewhere over here. I don't know. I did at one time. Oh, it's right there. See it on that corner?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would. That would be a good one. Same weight class.
Cool. I think I'd whip his ass.
You think?
Yeah, take him down easily.
How would you finish him?
With the sub. Unless he knocked me out. I mean, there's possibility.
Never know.
I could get the takedown in, but I don't know. He's pretty quick and he's lengthy. So
yeah. What is your favorite movie? Number one. So, what is your favorite movie? And if a movie was being made of your life, who would you have act your life out?
Yeah, that's kind of hard. I don't know what my favorite movie is, but like if I was gonna have somebody play me. Well, actually, my favorite movie, one of them is Braveheart. I'll just say that was or The Patriot. I like Mel Gibson movies.
Okay.
He makes good movies, and but there was an actor to play me. I was Michael Pena, the
Okay.
comedian. He's pretty funny, and he's Mexican. There's not a lot of Mexican actors that could probably play me, or actors that could play me. Right. They have to be Mexicans. You know?
Yeah, he's been in quite a few movies. The one that sticks out to me is End of Watch. It's a sad movie, but he brings a lot of comedy in it, as well. So that's a good one right there. And question 4, most memorable childhood moment.
Most memorable childhood moment? I don't know if I have one. I don't know. I think just the moments, my mom's passed away, so I think moments with her, I look back on those, like just her voice, remembering her voice. And those are probably my favorite memories, because I miss her so much. Right. So those are the ones I look back on the most. Last
question. If you could sit down and have a conversation with anyone throughout the history of the world, who would it be and why?
That one's easy. And Jesus Christ. So, there's a lot of things I would ask him. So that would be the
what's something you would, this is a very big question, but what's something you would ask Jesus Christ?
If he was God, if he was really, God. So, and, probably 1,000 other things. Yeah. Probably a lot of dumb questions.
Now you can sit there, for a lifetime, right?
Yeah. So, but that would be the person.
Thanks for answering those questions, and just get us started here. So, Joe, I'm excited to have you on, and just being a hometown kid from Porterville, and just coming back here after having a storied career in MMA and giving back to the community. You won a state title here at Porterville High School, and played football, and just did so much early on in your career, and you're back now, and you just started a new gym. So we're gonna get into that here a little bit, but let's just kind of kick it off. Growing up in Porterville, what was your childhood like growing up, and how did everything kind of morph into, going into wrestling and, starting your MMA career?
My childhood was interesting. I had a good family, the loving parents, and, my brothers were always, nice to me. But I grew up in a rough area, and my brothers were in trouble a lot, in and out of jail, stuff like that. So that kind of, but I had an older brother too. He was like 5 years older than me. And he used to beat the crap out of me. That kind of got me ready for fighting, but I love that guy.
Were you the youngest?
I was the youngest of 4 boys. So the one closest to me was 5 years older, so but I probably would get on his nerves and deserved a lot of those beatings. But he's a reason that probably I'm so tough now, mentally tough, and got me ready for fighting, really. But yeah, I grew up. My brothers were athletes. They played football, so I got into football. And then my brother, that was 5 years older, he got into wrestling his freshman year of high school, and that kind of opened my eyes to the sport of wrestling. I was about 4th grade, I think, when he was a freshman, and yeah, so that I kind of had it in my mind that I wanted to kind of do that later when I got into high school, and that's kind of what I did.
Okay, so you were 4th grade when you started? Is that when you started wrestling?
When I seen wrestling, when I first was introduced to the sport.
Oh, okay.
I think that was when my brother started wrestling. I had it in my mind that I wanted to wrestle in high school.
So when did you start wrestling?
8th grade.
8th grade.
So I was waiting to high school, and then I went to go. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but I went to go watch a wrestling match. My friend was wrestling in junior high, and then I stayed after. He wrestled in his wrestling match. I stayed after, and I was waiting for him. So we're gonna go home or something, and the assistant coach seen me waiting, and he just started talking about wrestling. He goes, "Hey, you interested in wrestling?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to start wrestling next year when I get into high school." And he said, "Why don't you come out now?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then he just kind of made me promise that I was going to come out the next day.
Okay,
that's what I did.
So you started like later,
yeah,
right?
Usually, like good wrestlers start around 5, 6 years old.
Yeah, you have kids 4, 5, 6 years old starting wrestling. So you started 8th grade, and what program did you start in?
The Bartlett Middle School.
Bartlett Middle School.
Yeah. It was. I did pretty good. I went to the state tournament in 8th grade, and I think it's like considered a state tournament, TOC, and I took 5th.
Yeah.
5th in the state, basically. My first year of wrestling.
Who's your coach?
I can't think of his name right now. He's gonna kill me. But yeah. See, I'm bad with names.
You'll remember here in a little bit.
I remember.
But yeah, so
Paul
Paul
Garcia. Sorry.
Paul Garcia.
Yeah.
He's still in wrestling, coaching or anything at all?
No, but he's a friend and he's around. He'll come train once in a while, but it's been a while since I've seen him. So yeah, sorry, Paul.
Nah, he got
a lot of punches to the head, guys. Yeah. A lot of punches to the head.
So going back, so what did your growing up? What did your parents do?
So my dad worked for the city of Porterville. He's a garbage man. He's pretty much did that, my whole life. And then my mom, she was a house cleaner for a lot of years, and then she got into she was like a drug rehab counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was a counselor and stuff like that towards the later part of her life.
So your parents, were they first generation, second generation in the United States, or
they'd be the first
generation. Okay,
yeah.
So you guys were second generation.
Yeah, we're second generation.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. So we were just in class talking about that. It's Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. So we were kind of talking about first generation, second generation class today. But yeah, so kind of going. So you started wrestling 8th grade, and obviously you wrestled high school and go on to win the state title. So when you started wrestling in 8th grade, were you hooked right away?
I was hooked, and at the time my parents were going through a divorce, so I think that kind of really took my mind off what was going on at home. So I put all my energy and all my thought into wrestling. Everything was, pretty much about that sport, especially in high school. Right once I got to high school, everything was, the focus was on wrestling. I played football when I was, since I was like 10. I was really good at football, but we never had good teams.
Right.
We always lost and stuff. And then I was always one of the best players, and then I didn't enjoy losing. And then once I got to wrestling, everything was on me. If I lost, it was because of me. It was, not so much of a team focus, it's more individual too. So I like that fact that I could be the reason I won or the reason why I lost. So
you have control over that.
I have more control if I win or lose.
Right.
And I like that part of it. And I hated losing. And I just got addicted, and I wanted to learn. And I would just record everything, record anybody wrestling, any good wrestlers, and I'd go back and watch video. And I'd watch my own matches and see what I could have did different. But I just deep dived into sports in 8th grade.
So that was like an outlet for you then?
Yeah, definitely.
Your parents going through, some divorce and whatnot. So that was your outlet. That was your kind of getaway then?
I think so. I think that was the main reason why I got so hooked into it.
And at this time, you said like you're watching, filming, watching, just kind of taking everything in. Who were some of the wrestlers like you were looking up to at that time?
Well, when my freshman year, that's when I started I got a video camera, started filming all the bigger wrestlers at these tournaments, all the better wrestlers. And at the time, I would film wrestlers like Cain Velasquez, who was a 4-time state champion. He's the first 4-time state champion. He's from Bakersfield, BHS.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Morgan, he was a 3-time state champion. I filmed some of his matches. Chad Mendez, I remember filming some of his. He was from Hanford at the time, and a small guy, smaller than me.
Was he at Hanford High or?
Yeah, I think, Hanford High.
Hanford High, yeah.
And then he was smaller than me too. He was like 112. I was like 130 my freshman year. But I remember not even knowing who he was. I was just seeing these guys that were like the higher ups in the valley.
Yeah.
And just recording all these matches, and I kind of learned about them later. But those are some of the guys I was recording, just the guys around the area, and then go back and watch their moves and still them, and then drill them.
So you started 8th grade a little late? Did you pick it up pretty quick, and you were just?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was a pretty quick learner. I was athletic, and I played football, like I said. So the double A kind of came natural because I'm used to tackling, and I used to play running back, so didn't want to get taken down. So that football kind of helped me.
Yeah, so you're kind of like maybe kind of a natural in a way, like you were able to jump in and kind of get it right away.
Avoid people and try to get the takedown. So I was pretty good right away. I mean, my freshman year, I didn't make varsity till the end of the year. I finally beat the senior. He was a senior, had my spot, and I beat him actually. And there was another senior that kind of tried to get that spot too. I beat him, and I did a junior, so I beat all these guys. Yeah, so it was. But towards the end of the year, like I said, I lost at the beginning of the year for wrestle-alls, but I caught up with them at the end.
So Tim Vanni was your head coach,
Yeah.
right? So what is kind of going into wrestling? I mean, you probably learn and kind of obviously knew the history of Tim Vanni at the time, or you learn pretty quick, right?
Yeah, you learn pretty quick.
So what did Tim Vanni mean to you? And like going through your high school career, like just having an Olympian, in the room and being able to learn and kind of pick from the ear of an Olympian, what did Tim Vanni mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely, I mean, he means a lot to me, still to this day, having a coach like that right off the bat, kind of, show you how to be a professional. He would compete at the highest level. So
right.
That kind of gave hope to me that I could accomplish a lot, because here's a guy from, the same area as me, and he went on to wrestle at the Olympics, and it gave me hope. If he could do it, I could do it, and maybe I could be better than him. And that was always the goal, to kind of compete against him. I know, one of the goals he kind of set for me was he never got taken down his junior or senior year. He never won a state title, but he never got taken down. He took second, so that was kind of one of my goals, never to get taken down. And I ended up, doing that my senior year. Never gave up a takedown. Went undefeated and won the state title. So I mean, that was kind of a goal he set for me early on. Letting me know that he didn't get taken down, so I kind of wanted to beat him in that. But like I said, he was motivation. He had a poster up, Olympic poster, and I kind of wanted to be where he was or shoot for that position.
So what were some of the things? I mean, I could just the wisdom, right, of Tim Vanni. What were some of the things he taught you and you kind of learned from him? Because I'm sure, you had just like shut up, don't talk. You're listening, open ears at the time with him in the room. But what were some of the things that you took from him just about life?
I mean, just being mentally tough, just mental toughness, stuff like that. How to compete. Just stuff like that. One time I had a broken hand, and I was in state tournament, freestyle state, and it was probably my second year of wrestling, and I broke my hand first match, and I didn't want to, I was like really scared about competing, and he told me a story about his friend competing with a broken neck.
You're like, oh shit.
So I ended up finishing the tournament. I took like fourth in the state, but taking fourth, it kind of allowed me to go to the national tournament, and then that was kind of cool. I went to Fargo and got to wrestle around with some of the best guys in the state there, and that helped me. But stuff like that, being mentally tough, and it just showed me how to be broke down techniques really well. It showed me how to be a technician, how to learn, how to break down moves, and how to learn step by step. So it showed me that kind of helped me out later in life, learning the learning process of how to learn techniques. He's known as a really big, really good technician of the sport. So just having that guy there was really, really big.
Awesome. And so did you win state your senior year? Is that, or senior year?
I took seventh my sophomore year, which was my third year of wrestling. I took seventh in the state, kind of upset a lot of people. My junior year, I was ranked number 1 in the state, and I got upset and didn't even place.
Well, okay.
And then I came back my senior year and went and defeated one state, didn't get taken down. Went to a national tournament my senior year and took seventh in the nation. And I had a close match with the number 1 guy, but he beat me by, I think it was like a point.
So what was the difference between your junior year not placing and your senior year and winning it all?
Just getting better as an athlete and as a wrestler, just learning myself, learning what worked for me and what to focus on, what moves. Like I was still developing a style.
Right.
My junior year, I didn't really have a go-to shot or go-to moves, I was learning so much at the time, and I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have go-to shots. And like that whole summer, I think I just looked back on some of those matches and I go, okay, that move was working a lot for me. I hit it naturally without even thinking about it. Like I'm hitting that single leg a lot. Let me just drill that every day and focus on, when I go into a match, I know I want that single leg or a certain double leg. Just break down moves and kind of, just figuring out what were my moves, what was my style. And I think that helped me in my senior year. It's
kind of perfecting the craft, finding yourself, finding kind of what who
and
you
then,
are
and
a little
then
bit.
Another thing was weight cutting. I went up 2 weight classes my senior year, because I was trying to make 25s, and I killed myself my junior year to make that weight class. So I think I burned myself out a lot cutting that weight. So by the time I got to the state tournament, I kind of wanted the season to be over because I was just tired of weight cutting.
Yeah.
In my senior year, I didn't cut so much weight, so I was still hungry,
A little more healthy,
and just still mentally focused. I didn't really have to focus on dieting so much.
Right. So before we go into the next chapter, the kid, whoever's listening, kids listening that are maybe wrestling or have maybe even people that are going to have their kids go into wrestling, being a state champion yourself, and going into MMA and this everything else you've done. What would you tell them? Like, what does it take? Because people that know wrestling, it's so much tenacity and perseverance you have to do, because you're going to go through a lot of kind of ruts and stuff like that. But so what does it take to win? What does it take to be successful?
Just actually the will to win and the will to do whatever it takes to accomplish your goals, your goal setting, and just been a lot of discipline. I mean, mainly it's just being disciplined and being there, showing up, every day, no matter if you don't want to do it. Obviously there's going to be days you don't want to practice, but there's going to be, if you train for so many years, there's going to be months where you don't want to train. You know what I mean? But you just go in and you give it your all. You just don't listen to yourself and don't get distracted by others, family members, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends. It's easy for people to tell you, let's go do this today, let's go do this today. But when I was wrestling or when I was fighting, pretty much it was rare where I would miss a day. I'd have to be sick. I definitely don't go into the gym sick. So yeah, just being there every day and just trying to get better and knowing that every hour I spent is important. So just been everything, trying to learn as much information as possible, all these moves. Everything is information, so I wanted to get comfortable at any move I was in. I kind of figured it out, every position, just getting familiar with all these positions. So just focus and discipline and like I said, just showing up every day.
Right. And you have to realize, you said not taking days off, because your opponents, they're not taking days off either, like the good ones, right? Yeah. You're competing against. The same thing with whether it's in wrestling or MMA.
But it's hard because I loved it so much. Like even when I didn't, I just loved it so much. I wanted to be there every day. I just wanted to be the best. So, I had that drive naturally,
Yeah.
But like I said, there's going to be times where you're not going to be motivated, but you just got to know what the end goal is. You got to set your goal. I want to be a world champion or Olympic champion or this, and I just keep pushing for that. My goal is to be a UFC champion. I set my goals high because even if I fail, maybe not a UFC champion, maybe I take second, or maybe
right.
And it kind of happened. The same thing. Maybe I always wanted to be a national champion, but I failed and came up short. But you know what? I was still number 2 in the nation. So just setting goals high, even if you fail and don't reach those goals, you're right. You're close. Right. Close number 2. And I can live with that. I can still give it my all.
Yeah, you did your best.
Yeah. And even if I wouldn't have won state, that was my goal, and I was lucky enough to reach that goal. But sometimes you're not. But it's okay as long as you give it 100%. And like I say, if you aim high, even if you come up short, you're still one of the best.
Right. What's that quote? Like, shoot for the stars or something like that.
Shoot for the moon, or shoot for the shoot for the moon, and you miss, you're still with the stars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you win the state title. You graduate from high school. Where what is it right away? You go into MMA. What's your thought process? Did you know what you're going to do yet? Because you went in, or you continue wrestling in college, right? Yeah. First, yeah.
Yeah, in high school, I always, since I was small, I kind of seen the UFC. I think I was like around 4th, 5th grade when I first witnessed the UFC. On my uncle used to watch it on those illegal black boxes.
Yeah,
we used to watch the UFC fight, so I kind of was intrigued, and that's kind of how I started karate. Actually, I seen one of the first UFCs. I seen Hoist, and he was a smaller guy. So then I tried to get into jiu-jitsu, but at the time there was no jiu-jitsu around here, so I got into like Shotokan karate for a little bit, and then did that until I was old enough to play football. So I think I did karate when I was like 9, actually. And then when football season started, I just started playing football, and then, but I was always still interested in like martial arts and stuff. But yeah, so I was always kind of interested in jiu-jitsu, wanted to do it. It was never here, but like I said, I started wrestling, and after my senior year, I got introduced to a friend that was doing jiu-jitsu out of his garage, and somebody told me, "Hey, are you interested in fighting?" And I told him, "Yeah," and he kind of showed me the way, introduced me to Paul Estrada, and I started doing jiu-jitsu there. But like I said, in high school, I would go watch the fights up here at the res,
Right.
and me and my friend Sean would say, "Hey, we're gonna do that one day," and then we would joke around too. We'd say, "We're gonna be in the UFC and we're gonna fight each other one day for the
Was it
belt."
still in high school?
Yeah, I was in high school. It's like, we're gonna be in the UFC and we're gonna fight each other for the belt one day. It never happened, but like I said, I stayed with it and I fought for the belt. So, but yeah, I got introduced to a friend after high school, my senior year, and started training during the summer before I went to Iowa Central. So I got a scholarship to Iowa Central, a junior college, and I just started training that summer in 2005. I just trained jiu-jitsu, and then I went off to wrestle and wrestled there. And then after wrestling, I wanted to fight.
Did you already know? Like, did you already kind of have it planned? So you went into some MMA, jiu-jitsu, and whatnot right after high school before you go wrestle in college. Did you kind of know, like, hey, I'm gonna go to college, but I want to fight after? Like,
I didn't even really want to go to a college wrestling. I don't even think it was my goal of mine in high school. Like I just was gonna. I don't know what I wanted to do. I think I was thought I was gonna win the lottery or something.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't have any I didn't have no desire to go wrestle in college. I thought I was going to be done after high school, and I thought after high school I was going to probably start fighting. That was kind of my goal. But I had a girlfriend at the time, and I kind of moved in with her family. They kind of helped me out because I was struggling in school, and her mom actually kind of helped me with school, and she was the one that kind of pushed for me to go wrestle in college, to continue wrestling. And that's what I did. She kind of helped me find a school too, and I was able to do that. And so then I still wanted to fight. I knew I was going to probably fight when I got out of school, but that kind of I switched up the plans once I thought I was, like I said, I thought I was going to fight, but I went to school instead. And then I went to go wrestle. And then but I knew when I got out of school I was going to fight. I actually fought one summer in between years when I was out of Central, so I think I fought when I was 19.
Okay.
Summer when I got back, yeah.
So you were roommates with John Jones,
yeah,
right? And you were also wrestled at Iowa Central with Cain Velasquez, correct?
So the first time I ever saw Cain Velasquez, I was a junior or senior in high school, and I went to Cal Poly to watch the Pac-12s, and I seen this big old guy with long curly hair, and he was a mean-looking guy. And his name was Cain Velasquez. He's wrestling for Arizona State, and I was kind of, just for some reason, I always remembered him. And when I got to Iowa Central, later on, a couple of years later, when I got there, they asked, "Oh, do you know Cain Velasquez?" And I said, "Yes." "Oh, yeah, he wrestled here a couple of years."
Okay.
A couple of years. So it was 2 years, I think 2 years before I got there.
Got it.
Something like that, or 3 years or whatever it was. But they told me about him, and they told me he was mean and one of the best wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
From there.
You hear the stories.
And then when I was at Iowa Central, I'd go watch Division I wrestling and stuff, and I'd always see him.
Okay.
And he was a small guy battling these big old heavyweights, so kind of knew the name. But yeah, so we knew of Cain already, and it was exciting to watch. But yeah, I was roommates with John Jones my first year, and then my second year, Colby Covington moved in.
Oh, yeah. So how was the two characters, I guess, right? So how was being roommated to the John Jones?
John was cool. Yeah, John was he's a nice guy. He's the type of guy that you could take him anywhere, and he's gonna be he's gonna make friends with everybody in the room. If we bring him into a room, everybody's gonna connect with them, and he's just kind of the life of the party and connects with everybody. He's kind of down to earth, and so he was fun to be around with. Good wrestler. Yeah, one of the best wrestlers. Hard worker. Likes to party a little bit.
Yeah,
but, yeah.
Any not to put anyone, any stories or anything, not bad ones necessarily or anything, but any stories with you guys?
We got bad ones and good ones. Not really. I mean, it was interesting. We almost got in a fight a few times, me and John, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean,
Like arguing or just messing around?
No, like really. Yeah. When we first started, luckily, we didn't because he would have whipped my ass. But no, he was cool. He was a cool guy. What were you saying? What was the question again, though?
Oh, if you guys had any stories.
Stories? Yeah. We have. Just, I don't know. I don't know if I could share any in here.
All right.
We had some fun times.
Yeah, I bet.
It was, but like I said, he's a good guy. I love John. He hasn't really changed a lot, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I could have a good time. But that guy has a good heart. I'll tell you a story that probably nobody knows. You could probably throw this out there because I've heard nobody. I think I don't know how I heard it. I was probably in the cafeteria seeing this girl, and then my friend probably told me, "Hey, I think that's kind of how I heard it." I'm trying to remember. It was a long time ago. But he said this girl, a good-looking girl, was at a party, and she was wasted, and guys were trying to take advantage of her, a bunch of guys in the room. And John found out that what was happening, and he went in the room and pretty much stopped everything and made sure he got her out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of told all those guys off and was really pissed off and kind of saved her. So that's kind of, he's like that.
Yeah.
He does a lot of good things, so he's not, he's had his trouble, but
right.
he's a good guy. So that's just a story that I've probably been waiting to tell, so
yeah.
And that should be out there.
No one probably had a damn thing to say when he spoke up either.
Nah.
They're not.
Yeah. So I think that was really cool of him. And, people probably should know that story.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing that. And how about, so Colby was the next year.
Yeah. Colby was next year.
So how about Colby? Were you guys roommates or just wrestling with each other?
Nah, we're roommates.
Okay,
so it was me, John, and Colby.
Oh, you guys are all together.
Yeah, so it was me, John, Colby. There was like two more guys. There was 5 guys in the 2-bedroom kind of dorm apartment style. Yeah, Colby was cool too. A little wild too. He was a little wild. We're all a little wild. Him and John were more wild though.
So I always see because he seems like a pretty chill dude, but then he'll put on a whole act, right?
Yeah.
So is that real or is that just an act, trying to sell tickets, trying to sell fights, in your opinion?
Like that, it's probably him, but magnified times 10.
Yeah,
maybe
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit, but I'm sure he's a Trump supporter too, and but it's magnified times.
Right.
He played it up. So yeah, he's a nice guy too. A really good family. His mom's a sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
His dad's a nice guy. Hard worker, tough guy too. Him and John mentally tough. Just two of the toughest guys mentally that I've came across. So yeah, but he was a little wild too. He got in a couple of fights. In college. I mean, they both did. I try to stay out of trouble.
At parties or what?
Yeah. Yeah. So they got into a couple of fights too, but good guys though.
Yeah, Colby mentally. I mean, when I watched the Robbie Lawler fight, when he just dominated him for 5 rounds, out wrestled him, out grappled him, out everything. I was like, damn.
Yeah, Iowa Central. It was crazy. We had some wars in those rooms.
I can only imagine.
We would wrestle for hours. An hour straight, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. My coach would be like, I was real close to him. He'd be like, "Hey, what do you want to do today?" And I go, "Let's go a short go." I'd be like, "All right, everybody, we're going to short go," and then that means we're going on a long ass go.
Yeah.
Because I love wrestling for that long. So we would just, and then people would get in fights in there.
In the wrestling room.
Yeah. The thing was, you try to throw your partner because it was upstairs. You would try to throw your partner either in the weight area. You try to throw them into the weights, or you try to throw them downstairs, or you just try to break them, make them cry. So there was a lot of fights. People getting stitches. I think maybe Colby sent somebody home with stitches. Yeah, and then John punching one of my other roommates, or freshman year. So it was me trying to get me. I would get one time I got my butt whipped so bad I was fish hooking the guy, trying to elbow him, just doing a bunch of illegal shit. But yeah,
I can imagine, dude.
But like I said, but those guys, it was hard. You can't break those guys. You can't break them. Like even most of us wouldn't break most of that room. Like we wouldn't break.
Yeah. I mean, you get pretty much everyone to either state champ or, coming from the best or
best
I was, the best, right?
Yeah, I think I don't know if John was a 2-timer or a 1-timer. I think me and John were like 1-time state champions, but everybody else was like 2 or 3-time state champions. But we came from tough states, though. We came from California and New York. I think we only have one division. I think everybody else had like 3 or 4 divisions, so they could have multiple state champions.
Right. Is Colby, is that fight signed for him and
Usman?
In Usman, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
The second one,
that's another guy I met with Central too. Or when I was in college, I met him through John. We're at we got recruited to Iowa. I went on a recruit trip out there with John, and we were at some bars, and then we came across Usman, and he introduced me to him.
Cool guy.
Yeah, cool guy too. I didn't really know him that much, but I kind of remembered him, and then through the years we were like Facebook friends for a long time. I kind of seen his progression because I was Bellator champ right away, so I had success right away. But then I seen him kind of smaller shows and then come up, and that's crazy now. He's a champ.
Right. Then him and Colby. The first time was it was a good fight, and Colby, I think Usman broke Colby's jaw, right? And was it the second or third round or something like that?
No, it was the 5th round.
Was it the 5th round?
Actually, no. Hold on, I'm lying. I didn't even really watch the whole fight. I think I caught the rerun. Oh yeah, you might be right, but he finished him in the 5th round.
Yeah,
he broke his jaw.
Yeah, I mean he fought the rest of that fight with the broken jaw.
Yeah, so like I said, like those Iowa Central guys from those years, like we were put through a lot. There's not a lot to quit. You're gonna have to put us out and finish this that way.
So how was your time at Iowa Central, and then what was the progression from Iowa Central, and then obviously going to the MMA world?
Yeah, I was at Iowa Central. I went like actually an extra semester because I was trying to finish my AA, and I was always, school wasn't my thing, so I wasn't doing that well. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop wasting my time and my parents' money. They were kind of helping me out, while I was out there. So I was like, I'm not in love with this, and I would just couldn't sleep at night. I was just thinking about fighting all the time, and I was depressed, kind of being out there for so long, and just trying to do a school thing. I just wanted to fight. I was watching all these old Pride videos and UFC videos. I'd go buy them. My dad gave me money for food, and I'd go to wherever to go buy these fight videos.
Yeah, go to Blockbuster or whatever.
I forgot what it was. It was some CD place where you could buy CDs back in the day, and they had all these Pride fights and UFC, so I would spend all my money doing that, and I would just watch all these fights, and I was like, man, I need to do this already. And finally I told my dad, I'm gonna come home, and I'm just gonna I want to start fighting. I'll go to PC or whatever. I just want to start fighting. And he was like, okay. And then he wanted me to go to school, but then I was like, I keep going to school here, but I was like, it's not for me. I can't. I need to fight.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I started competing right when I got home.
So what was your first fight?
Well, like I said, my first fight was technically when I was still in school, but my first fight when I got home, I think it was technically my second fight actually when I got from when I was done with school. I think it was what the guy's name. Anyways, he was like 4-2 at the time. He was here at Tachi Palace, and I beat him. Yeah, and then I had another fight with a guy named Brandon Jennings, and I racked up a few more wins, like on small shows, and I think I had like a 4-fight win streak, and somehow I got signed to Bellator. Like it wasn't a thing yet, Bellator,
right?
Like nobody knew about it, and I had a manager at the time that kind of knew another manager, and that guy was they were trying to get Dave Terrell on Bellator on a tournament. Because Dave was a UFC he fought for a title in the UFC, so they're trying to get Dave, and somehow they convinced them to get me on, and that would help Dave get on. But anyways, they got me on, and Dave didn't end up doing it. But so that's kind of how I got my foot in the door in Bellator. And then once I signed with Bellator, I signed with 2 managers, and they decided it would be a good idea for me to move to Santa Rosa and go train under Dave Terrell.
And is that where you got your black belt?
Yeah,
under Dave Terrell.
Under Dave Terrell, that's Cesar Gracie's first black belt.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Nick was Cesar's second black belt, and Dave is he was like the leader of that the whole thing. You know, like Nick and Nate and Jake Shields and everybody, they looked up to Dave. Like Dave is.
So he was their kind of like mentor.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because he had early success and he was older, and you know he was a beast. I mean, still is a beast, and you know, so they have a lot of respect for him.
So what's his kind of story like? Briefly.
He's just a high school wrestler, tough high school wrestler. Started training with some of the Gracies, like Half Gracie, and then you know, I think he was around with like BJ and all them too when BJ was training with Half. And he just got really good jiu-jitsu, started training with the Gracie, like I said, Half, and then he started training with Caesar, and then he would, you know, training in Brazil with a lot of those fighters or grapplers, and then he got really good jiu-jitsu, and then, you know, signed with the UFC, fought Matt Lenlin, who was like knocked out Matt Lenlin, who was always ranked really high in the world, like number 1 in the world too, and then fought Evan Tanner for the belt. But yeah, he was just really, really good black belt. Never got scored on in competition. I think he lost once, but it was kind of on judge's decision. But and then I thought he should have won the UFC title too, but Evan Tanner beat him. I remember watching that live.
That was early.
Yeah.
What year was that?
I don't remember, but I remember I was definitely in high school, I think, and I remember watching it though.
So 2004 or 5, something early 2000s.
Like early 2000s, yeah.
Okay,
but that's Dave's story.
So you go into Bellator. Did you fight first, and then you were the first? So you were the first
Bellator World Champion.
Okay,
yeah.
At what weight class?
At 145.
145. Okay.
Featherweight. So I don't know if you know that, but it used to be tournaments.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, they were doing a bunch of tournaments for a bunch of weight classes. That's what they were trying to get Dave into the tournament, but so they were able to weasel me in the 45 tournament. They just threw me in there. They didn't think I was going to win.
Right.
And yeah, I ended up, you know, beating my first guy in the first round, and then I fought the number 10 ranked guy in the world, Wilson Reese, I think, Wilson Hayes. He fought in the UFC later on in his career. He fought Mighty Mouse for a title.
Okay.
But I ended up fighting him. He was ranked like 10th in the world, and I beat him, upset him, and then I fought for the title, and I won the Bellator title.
And then
I was the first Bellator champion because that was the first tournament that ended.
So what you were sitting at what, like 8-0 or 7-0, 9-0 at this time?
I think I was 9-0 at that time. Yeah. Then my next fight was with Joe Warren. No, I was 8-0. You're right. I was 8-0 because then I had one more fight. It wasn't a title defense because at the time it was like considered a super fight. I fought Diego Saraiva, who was a UFC veteran, and he used to fight at Tachi all the time. I remember watching him fight at Tachi when I was up and comer, and he was a UFC vet, and I fought him. It wasn't a title fight though; it was considered a super fight, and then I beat him. And then after, because they did another tournament, and then Joe Warren won that tournament. He beat Patricio Pitbull. Okay, and then that's when I fought Joe, and Joe knocked me out.
So you come out of the loss to Joe, and kind of where does it go from there?
Yeah, so then it gets crazy because I lost to Joe, and then I was at home, and I think I was driving with my girl. Or I was at home, and I spent a month at home, and then I was driving with my girl. I don't know if she was moving up with me. I think she might have been moving up with me. We were driving back to Santa Rosa because I was going to start training again. And when I was driving, I started feeling my eye feel like a lot of heat. And my face was really hot, and I was driving. This was like a month after my fight. I was driving, and then I think I don't know if it started in the car, but I started seeing black out of the corner of my eye. And then I was watching TV later, and I started seeing black out of the corner of my eye. I thought it was like an eyelash or something. Then I went to the doctor the next day, and he said, I think you might have a detached retina, because I've seen black out of the corner of my eye. So then he sent me to an ophthalmologist, and the ophthalmologist referred me to a specialist. This was all like in one day. And then a specialist was like, oh, you're going to have an emergency surgery. She was like, you're probably never going to fight again. Because at the time, nobody in MMA ever had detached retina. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so the next day I had the emergency surgery on my retina, and it was like partially detached. They were able to reattach it, but I thought I was kind of done after that. So I took a year off, and then I just, my doctor cleared me to fight again, so I just started competing again. So, but it was a year off. It was a horrible, it was a horrible process, recovery process.
And so how's that kind of, have you been dealing with that ever since, the eye thing?
it's crazy because I started before the retina thing. Now that you brought that up, so I had that 4-fight win streak, and I signed with Bellator. I think, and it was like December when I signed with Bellator, and the fight wasn't until like April or June or something. The first Bellator fight. So I used to have bad vision, so I wanted to get LASIK surgery. So I went in and did PRK. So I remember that was kind of why, I did PRK, and then, but then when I got up to Santa Rosa and started training, right, I just had the PRK surgery, and then little by little, like, I had these nightmares that I would wake up and I couldn't see, and then like little by little, it kind of happened. Like I'd wait, like I started getting like it started being blurry after practice, like blurriness, and then I went to a doctor and they said, "Oh, you got like scar tissue from the surgery." Like it just my eyes started regressing. So like I had 20/20 vision after the surgery, then they started regressing back to what they were, and then I started getting like really bad scar tissue over my eyes from the surgery, and then so I would have to go in and like scrape off the scar tissue and stuff, and I had to deal with that problem for a long time. And then so I always had eye problems since that PRK surgery, and then I had the retina problem.
Is that from the Joe Warren fight?
The retina?
Yeah.
I think that probably I don't know, probably played an impact in it, but like now, like seeing so many doctors and they said I was going to be prone no matter what to detach retinas. Just the way I was so farsighted, and just the way my eyes are shaped. Like eventually, later on in life, I was gonna have retina problems. So, but I'm sure like getting hit, knocked out, like that head trauma, probably speed up the process.
Right. So you kind of you take a year off, or you're off for a year because of the eyes. And so, what's the next step? How did you get another fight, or were you still signed with Bellator?
I was still signed with Bellator, and then I came back. I think I came back too early. I just got knocked out. I freaking lost some of my vision, and I think I rushed being back. I don't know if I needed the money or probably didn't, but I wanted to make money. So probably a year process, and then I kind of, like I said, I think I sped too far. I sped up the process too far. I should have took more time because I wasn't used to getting hit again. I was still gun shy. I still had that mental, mentally I wasn't ready, because I remember sparring, and after sparring I would open my eye, make sure I could see. I wasn't seeing black or something. I think I was kind of still gun shy to get hit a lot, and it took me a while, a couple fights. It took me a good 4 or 5 fights to kind of get used to getting punched again.
So getting knocked out like that, you said you were kind of gun shy. Does it have a big effect? Like when someone is knocked out?
Well, I think it wasn't the fact that I just got knocked out. I think it was the fact that I lost vision, and the like I said, the process of that surgery, the recovery process is you have to 2 weeks after the surgery, you keep your head down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You gotta you can't look up for 2 weeks. You gotta sleep face down for 2 weeks. You can't sleep a certain way, and it's just and then I couldn't even work out for 6 months, I think, until they because they ejected with the gas bubble that holds the retina together. So I think just from that whole process and getting knocked out and being undefeated, thinking you're unbeatable, that just messes with your mind. So, but I think a lot of it was just the eye injury, scared that my eye was going to detach again.
Oh, okay.
So I think most of it was that, not trusting my eye. And then once I got, like I said, once I sparred for probably a year, 2 years, then I started okay, I can trust my eye. I'm not gonna go blind. So that was part of it. But like I said, I took a fight. So about a year, I came back and took a fight with Eddie. I forgot the other guy I took a fight with. Anyways, I took a fight. That guy ended up going to the UFC, but Eddie Yeagan. I took a fight with Eddie Yeagan. He upsetted me. So that was 2 fights in a row that I lost. I got in. He hit me with the punch. Kind of got worried. Probably shot in on a leg, and I kind of rushed a double leg. Caught me in a guillotine. Then the UFC ended up signing him. But before I took that Eddie Yeagan fight, because I told Bellator I wanted to take a fight, and they allowed me to take a fight right here at Tachi. But they said, okay, but if you lose, you're not going to be in the next tournament. So I took that gamble, and I lost to Yeagan. So they said they didn't put me in the next tournament. And they pretty much released me after that. I never had a fight with them again. So I lost, 2 in a row. And yeah.
So did you during that time before you get sent to UFC, were you fighting at Tachi and doing those fights, or?
Yeah. So after that, I got pretty much released by Bellator. I lost 2 in a row, and I thought I was going to retire. I was like, man, like I just lost 2 in a row. And they were bad fights. So I thought I was going to retire. I thought about it. Came home. Like I said, I moved back home. I was living in Santa Rosa at the time, but I lost 2 fights, and then I wasn't sure of my future, so I decided to move home and open a gym here. And I started training people here at a small gym, and then I was training people and I was sparring with them. And I'm like, man, if I'm going to get hurt, I'm probably going to get hurt like in training, so might as well get paid for it. Might as well start fighting again. And people were like, some of my friends were convincing me, like, yeah, you need to come back. You need to come back. One of my friends, Poppy Martinez, like he wouldn't shut up about it. He's like, you're gonna win the UFC title. You'll win the UFC title. He's like, you just need to come back. He's like, he was really good friends, like best friends with Uriah Faber. He used to train at Alpha Male. Poppy's is from Lemoore, but he trained at Alpha Male for a long time. So he kind of told me like, dude, you're like one of the best guys I've ever trained with ever. So he's like, just come back. Come on, we'll get in a win streak. You'll get in the UFC. You'll fight for a title right away. And it actually kind of happened, like I said. So I decided to come back because the Poppies wouldn't shut up. And then, I got in I started fighting at Tachi, and I got in a 6-fight win streak and like 6 finishes. And like mainly the guys that were throwing at me were like UFC guys, the guys that the UFC wanted to sign. So like if these guys would have beat me, the UFC would have signed them. So like fought like Chad George. There was some other guy that the UFC wanted to sign. Terrion Ware. The UFC ended up signing him, but they wanted to sign him. Labiano, what Labiano's first name is, but Jeremiah Labiano. So a lot of these guys that were throwing at me were like guys the UFC wanted, and they just needed a win over me, and the UFC would send them. But I kept taking them out, and then eventually the UFC, like after 6 fights, finally, signed me.
So you get signed into the UFC. So what was that experience like?
It was cool.
Because I mean, that was the dream.
That was the dream. That was the dream. And then with the eye issues was crazy. Because over the years, like it was hard to get cleared. Like I would have to go to different doctors. Like certain doctors would see me once, clear me, and then I would go back into their office and they're like, "Oh, we don't test fighters no more." So like, I got kicked out of a lot of doctors' offices because my eyes. They didn't want to clear me to fight. So like stuff like that. Like even before I got signed to the UFC, I was going to fight Dillashaw, and the doctor kicked me out of his office and was like not comfortable releasing me. I remember like, I don't know if I cried. I was probably close to crying because I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to like fight my UFC fight. I'm not going to get cleared. And
right.
Somehow I found some doctor that was comfortable, signing, letting me continue fighting. So, like I said, because a lot of them were just scared that I was going to have a detached retina or something.
Right.
But
they don't want to be responsible for signing off on it. And
so that was part of it. Like I remember, finally getting cleared, and I didn't think it was going to happen. Like, and it did, and that was fun. And then that was 2 fights after. That was 2 weeks after I defended my title here at Tachi. I took that fight, and it was short notice. And I remember, I think I was sick when I took it too. When I accepted it, I think I was sick. I just fought, so usually back at that time I was cutting weight wrong. I was dehydrating all the time, so I would always get sick before fights. So I think I was sick, and they called me, and I took the fight. And then 2 weeks later, I fought, and then they changed it last minute to TJ.
So, what was that whole experience like? Obviously, there's another opponent for TJ. They didn't make a weight, right? Was it a weight cut?
Yeah. So I was supposed to fight Anthony Burchek, and then the fight was at 136. So it basically changes. If it's a title fight, it's 135. So when they let me know, I had like an hour to go cut that last pound. So that was crazy too. But
so you were already on the card.
I was on the card. I was like one of the prelims, and I was supposed to fight Burchek, who's ended up beating me later on. But I was I cut weight. I'm about to go to the weigh-ins, right? I'm waiting in my hotel. I'm dying. I just had a hard weight cut, and I'm like laying down in the bathroom. This was like my ritual because they have tile, so I'm like laying down on the tile. It's a cold tile. I'm laying down naked, and then my friend's like, "Hey, some number keeps calling you." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "I think it was Poppy's probably. It was probably the UFC answer." So I get up, probably put a towel on, and then answer the phone. They're like, "Hey, it's Sean Shelby and Joe Silva we want to talk to you downstairs. And yeah, I figured something had happened. I think Cejudo was on the card. He was fighting Jorgensen, but I think he went to the hospital. So I thought I was going to fight Jorgensen. But so when I went down there, you know, I talked to them. They're like, "Hey, you know why we're bringing you here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you guys want me to fight in the main card?" Because I thought I was going to fight Jorgensen. They're like, "Yeah, something like that." And then we sat down, and they're like, "Hey, bro, I went to the hospital. You want to fight TJ for the belt?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Hold on." And I said, "Yeah," and then they were all happy. And then I was like, "Happy too." And then I was like, "Hold on, wait a minute. Am I going to get paid more?" And then they kind of discussed pay a little bit. And yeah, so that's what kind of how it happened.
So what did the contract change at all, or just a little bit more pay?
Yeah, so what happened was, so I was at the time UFC. Your first fight, you get paid $8,000 and $8,000 to show. So $8,000 to show up, $8,000 to win. And they were like, I knew they'd give me a bonus if I took it. So I kind of knew there was going to be a bonus, maybe like $50,000 or whatever, $20,000. But they were like, yeah, we'll switch your contract. So starting out from 8-8, we're gonna start at 20-20. So 20 to show, 20 to win. So I was like, all right, sounds good. Let's do it. Yeah, but later on, actually, they ended up sending me $100,000 bonus.
Okay,
so
nice.
I lost, got 20,000,
right.
And then they ended up sending me that 100,000. So I made 120.
So what do they? How did they? I mean, you might not know, but how do they figure that out? Just kind of gate what the gate was and see how kind of much. I wonder how that conversation is.
I don't know. I just remember Dana White. I mean, I knew they were gonna give me a bonus. You know, like my manager was like, "You're gonna get a bonus," and then I didn't think it was gonna be that much. And Dana White called me, check up on me, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna send you a bonus," and then he's, "I'll call you back in a couple of weeks," and then so I waited for his call, and then he called me back like a couple of weeks later, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you 100,000 bonus. How's that sound?" I was like, "That sounds pretty good." Like, $1 million sounds better.
Yeah,
I'll take it though.
So how was the conversation with Dana White?
It was cool. I mean, nothing long.
Yeah,
nothing,
sure.
Just
yeah.
seeing if I was, cool. He just thanked me, and
yeah. I mean, you step up in a big situation like that. It's and you brought the fight to him.
Yeah, because at the time, like I was the only guy that could step up. Because I was the former Bellator champion. Like you have to have for a title fight. I guess that has to be a certain criteria. Like not anybody could just step up, because it was a main event title fight that they promised, customers.
Sure.
So I think that I was the only guy with the resume that could step up, and I was a champion from another promotion.
Right.
So
yeah, because you had that title.
Yeah. So it made
So you get the call.
I saved the event. Like if I would have said no, I think they would have canceled the event. But
so you get the call. What's the you get the call the day before, or the date?
The day before, yeah, but it was right before weigh-ins. Remember, like an hour before weigh-ins,
yeah.
I got the call.
So you get the call. What's the next 24 hours look like?
Well, it's crazy because, like I said, I'm talking to them. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do this, and then we're like, all happy, and then I'm like, hold on, I got to make 135, and they're like, yeah, you got to. Can you do it? And I'm like, and then they're like, you got like fucking an hour. I'm like, fuck, I was dead. Like I said, I was dead already.
Right. So
I was like, hey, I don't know if I could do it. And they're like, no, we have to know right now. Like, you have to, can you make the weight? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, no, we have to know. And I was like, yeah, I'll make it. And then so right away, it's rushing to the gym, getting all my weight cutting stuff back together. And we rushed to like a 24-hour fitness, and we jumped in the sauna, and I cut a pound in about 15 minutes. I had a crazy amount of energy hit me, and I just was jumping around that sauna, yeah, and made the weight.
Got like a second wind.
Yeah, I got a second wind when I knew, I was going to get more money to support my family.
So you cut the weight, and you go weigh in?
Yeah, I cut the weight and go weigh in, yeah.
So you make weight, and then what's it like after that? So you get obviously a hard weight cut, and you had to even cut more. So what's the next process? How much weight do you put on before you walk into the cage?
I can't remember at the time. Usually I would probably get back up to like close to 150. So another like 15 pounds. Yeah.
And how do you put the weight on? Just water,
just water,
hydration,
hydration, eating a little bit, but
right.
Yeah, that was the next process. But just trying to get your mind focused. And I didn't really watch any tape on Dillashaw ever. Like I seen a couple of his fights, but I wasn't, I knew he had a lot of movement and stuff, and.
So you kind of stuck with obviously a little bit different style, obviously, but So you make weight, obviously you start putting weight back on. What for you, and I'm sure every fighter just a little different what they do, but what's that night before look like, and what's the next morning and afternoon leading up to the fight?
Just, like I said, going refeeding my body, putting good things in it, and just trying to get mentally focused, going back to the hotel, and just, there's not a lot of, not much you could do. Just, I think I watched a couple videos, and then, went back and sleep and recovered, and then wake up. There's not a lot to do. You just go to sleep, wake up the next day, you're fighting the guy for a world championship.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to do to prepare. But same for him.
Right.
But I mean, we had trained together. The craziest part is I didn't think I was going to get signed. I was like on a 6-fight win streak, and I didn't think the UFC was going to sign me. So I told my friend Poppies, he was close to Uriah, and I was like, hey, I want to go train with them, those guys, because they're like best guys in the world, right, at my weight. And I want to see where I'm at. Like, I'm never going to be able to compete against these guys, so the UFC's not going to sign me. Because I was coming from Bellator, I didn't think they wanted to sign me, and I don't know if it's because of the eye injury or what, but they were staying away from me. So I went to go train up in Sacramento, and I ended up training with Dillashaw, Cody Garbrandt, and Uriah. So, and then after that trip, I felt like I was one of the best in the world. Like I could beat anybody in the world. Like, I did really well, so I felt like I could beat anybody in the world, like, on any given night. So like, going into the fight, like, I thought I had a really good shot of winning. Like, me and TJ in training were like, we didn't spar, but grappling wise, we were pretty even. So I knew he was tough, because like a lot of people like grappling couldn't keep up with me, and like he was the toughest. He was probably at that time like the guy that was the best competition for me. So I knew he was gonna be tough, but I thought I could beat him. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, and so you kind of leading up to the fight. Obviously, a whole different experience, right? You're walking to a full arena, and you're going to fight for a title. So what was that? What was that like? Just walking through there, full arena.
It felt like it was just meant to be. Like, I was gonna win. Like, I was like, all right, this shit is too crazy. Like, I'm gonna win this. And that's kind of how Bellator was. When I wasn't supposed to win. At the tournament, I beat Wilson, and then won that. At that time, it was $175,000 at the time. That was the most like anybody at that weight class was getting paid. Like, that was unrealistic. Like, so I thought it was gonna be the same. It was crazy. It was crazy though. I was nervous. I was scared too. Because I knew TJ was tough, and yeah, I was kind of scared but confident. You feel every emotion. Fear, but then you're confident at the same time, and you're focused. And yeah, it was fun.
I mean, a lot of, obviously a huge underdog going into the fight, right? And I mean, you brought the fight, like you went almost the distance with TJ. During the fight, what's going through your mind? From round to round, what were you thinking? What's your mindset?
I just remember he's quick, like fast. I mean, I'm sure he's a lot better with boxing now, but at the time, like, I was sparring a lot of pro boxers or like boxers from around here, and so his power wasn't as hard as I would get hit way harder in practice. So like, I was surprised by that, but his speed was really good. He was tricky, and then I just that kind of stuff was going through my head, like that. Okay, he's fast, he's quick, and then trying to get him tired. I was letting him punch a lot, trying to let him get himself tired, trying to gas him out that way. It was hard to keep up with this pace. He had a good pace. Like, I remember thinking, damn, like, when's this guy gonna get tired? Because usually I gas people out, let him throw a lot, and then they kind of slow down, but he never slowed down. And I figured, towards the end of the fight, I was losing. Just got in survival mode. I probably should have shot more, tried to shot more takedowns, but you get in survival mode in there. And I think that's what happened to me.
Yeah. So after the fight, obviously, you lose in the fifth. What was were you disappointed?
I was disappointed. I was sad. I mean, I'd got knocked out, so that was the second time I got knocked out. And like, I don't know. I had like it was a hard road to get there, So like I don't know if I would have did it, but like going into that fight, like once they told me I was gonna fight TJ and all that, like going into the fight, I was like, all right, if I win this battle, I don't think I'm ever gonna fight again. Like, I thought if I won the bout, I was probably gonna retire. I don't know if I would have, because the money probably would have drew me in, but because there was gonna be nothing bigger than that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That was kind of my goal, and then after the fight, I was disappointed, and I had just got knocked out, so I was like, man, I don't want to keep fighting and getting knocked out. That's the second time I've ever been knocked out. It's dangerous, you know. Like, and I told myself before, like, my career started, like, if you get knocked out like 3 times, you're done, you know, for sure. You're gonna be like, if you get knocked out 3 times, don't ever fight again. I told myself that, you know, and yeah. So I was thinking about just, I don't know. I was sad because I got knocked out, and yeah, I knew it was gonna be a hard road back to the title too. Like, you know what I mean? Right. And yeah, so that was kind of my thought process. Like, damn. But then, I mean, I felt good too at the same time. So you get all these thoughts, you know, all these emotions, and obviously I felt good too because I just went, you know, 5 rounds with TJ, you know. But yeah. I thought I did all right, but I mean, I don't know. He's tough. He was tough. It was hard to beat.
Right. I mean, I remember watching that fight live and just kind of talking, because I mean, everyone knows in Porterville who you are, and I remember talking like, dang, like he almost went the distance with him. So I remember like everyone was like, damn, like even though you lost, it was like he brought the fight. And even I think Joe Rogan interviewed you after the fight, which normally now like they wouldn't interview with someone that gets knocked out, but he interviewed you after the fight, and even TJ had a lot of you know, word for you after the fight. Like, damn, he brought the fight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, he knew that it was going to be a tough fight. Yeah, they all knew because I trained with all of them, right? You know, so they all knew what I was capable of, and yeah, they all knew it was going to be a tough fight.
So you lose to TJ in the title. What was next for you? So
I fought Burchek, the guy I was originally supposed to fight, and then that was just horrible. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's tough too, but I think the UFC nerves hit me that fight more. I think that for the Dillashaw fight, I didn't really get the nerves because it was just too fast. You know, I didn't have time to prepare to be nervous, or I don't know. Or maybe my mental maybe I just was mentally strong at that time because I was on a good 6-fight win streak. You know, maybe that was the best in the world. And then once you get knocked out and I'm going into my next fight, you know, like, you're thinking about that again. Like, am I gonna get knocked out? Right. You know, as far as I was, not everybody was like that, but you know, just really cautious, and then not pulling the trigger right away, and I got knocked out again. And then I probably should have been done back, you know, at that time. Like, if I would have followed my own advice, but I just wanted at least one win, you know. So even though I lost to Burchett, I was 2 losses, 2 knockouts in a row. I took the third fight. The third fight in the UFC, and I fought it was a Japanese fighter, for his name. And I was scared for that fight too because I just got knocked out twice. I was like, I'm gonna get knocked out again. And then I ended up losing to him, but it was a close fight. Like, I should have probably won that one maybe. I thought, I mean, I kicked his ass, but he went on points. And so then the reason why I kept fighting again, like I said, like, I don't know if I should have kept fighting, but the reason why I kept fighting again was I wanted just at least one win, and then I fought Crispville in Canada. That was my last fight on my contract, and I beat him, submitted him, and then I got my first win. And then, I don't know, felt pretty good because I felt like I should have been on a 2-fight win streak, you know. Mm. And then I took a short notice fight in Mexico City, and then I got on like a 3-fight win streak after that, and I broke the top 15 in the world after that.
And so you break the top 15, and were you still in the UFC at that point?
Yeah, because I lost, like I said, I lost to TJ, I lost to Burchek, I lost to a Japanese guy, which I should have won. And then they gave me that other fight, and then so I won the last fight of my contract, and they offered me, like I said, short notice fight in Mexico City against Marcos Beltran. And I took that one, and they said that for a new contract for more pay. Mm. But I took it on a week's notice. Like, I wasn't even training or anything. I was just getting over some injuries, and I needed the money. So I took that one, and I was lucky enough to pull it off. I finished them like in the first minute or two in Mexico City, high elevation. I was so scared walking out to that fight. I thought I was gonna get my ass whipped. And then
just because you hadn't trained,
because I haven't trained. It's high elevation. I seen Cain Velasquez lost to I forgot who it was. Cain Velasquez had lost. He had gassed out to some other
that night.
Verdum. No. Like before. It was, I don't know how long before. I'm a couple months before, a year before.
Okay.
But Cain had lost to Mauricio Verdum, and because he got gassed out, so like going, I was like, shit, I'm in Mexico City, high elevation. Like I'm gonna gas out. I haven't trained.
Yeah.
So I was so scared, and then I pulled it off, and then I won. So I won that one. And then I fought. What did I fight after that? I fought one more time after that, and I had another one, I think. Yeah, I had 3 wins, and then I've got a 3-fight win streak. Oh, I fought the guy in Brazil, Ronnie Yaya. I fought Ronnie Yaya in Brazil. He was ranked 14th in the world. So after I fought the kid in Mexico City, Marcus Beltran, I fought Ronnie Yaya. That was when I had a training camp for that one, and I upset it right. Yaya. I beat him in a decision. That was the one where I was all bleeding. I don't know if you remember that fight.
Yeah. So did they just not renew your contract, or how did that work?
So after I beat Yaya, I was ranked 14th in the world, and then I got another fight offered. So so Beltran was on my next contract. Beltran was the first fight. Yaya was the second fight. I broke the top 15, and then I fought Brett Johns in Vegas, and he was undefeated fighter.
Yeah.
And like if I would have beat him, I would have broke the top 10 probably, right? So one of us was breaking the top 10, and he ended up submitting me in like freaking 30 seconds or something crazy. Caught me in a slicer. And then after I lost to him, I took another fairly short notice fight in Brazil against this other fighter in Brazil that was really good. I forgot his name too, but I'm bad with names. But I lost to him, and he was a big guy, and I lost to him in Brazil. So I lost my last 2 fights on my contract, and they just didn't renew.
Okay.
They didn't offer me anything else.
So that was 2018 or?
Yeah, around
18?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so from 2018 to 2021, what's that couple year gap look like for you?
Just figuring out what's next, you know.
Did you fight? Have you fought at all?
No.
That was your last fight?
Yeah, it was my last fight. The last fight. I was going to try to get down, before they released me, I was trying to get down to 25. I got down to like 30 or like 29. And then I found out they weren't going to resign me. So then it just was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to try to get back. I could have fought outside the UFC and tried to get back in.
Right.
A lot of my friends did that. A few guys I know, they got outside, fought like 1 or 2, get back in the UFC. But I was like, you know what, I'm already getting older. I got bad eyes. And I had a good run. I was really kind of thinking about,
right,
about that. When I first started fighting too, my goal was like to be done competing at 30, So, but I would have, if the UFC would have kept me, I probably would have extended. I would have went past like what I originally told myself. I wanted to stop competing at 30. I wanted to like get married, have kids, and focus on that. Because like living that fight lifestyle, like you're real selfish, and you're trying to just, everything's about you, just stealing everybody's information, trying to get better, like any way you can, So I just wanted to focus on family after 30. So anyways, like, yeah, that was kind of part of it too. Like, hey, you made this, you wanted to stop when you were 30. Look, it's happening. Like, not the way you envisioned it, you wanted to stop with money in your bank and, on top at 30. But yeah, so anyways, I stopped fighting and then just looking for what's next. And I had no job experience, so then I'm trying to look for a job, and luckily I got hired on here at the DC, and now I got a pretty good job, so a decent job, asset protection there. So, but just doing that, and then I kind of I took a break from fighting from training for like the last 3 years, and then like recently this year, I don't know I couldn't sleep, and I was just thinking about opening this gym, and I was miserable without training or helping people or training myself, and I couldn't sleep, so I was like, I need to open this gym, and that's kind of what I did.
Yeah, because you've been doing it since you were a kid, and all of a sudden you have some time, you're not doing it. That's what
you're
thinking about, right?
Yeah, so like I said, I had 3 years break. I needed it. I needed a good break for myself, mental break. I needed to feel what it was like to have. I lived with pressure my whole life, like lived with that pressure my whole life, competitive pressure to be the best, like every day was to be the best. So like it felt good, like it feels good now, and not having to worry about that.
So talking about the gym. So what? Obviously, you just opened up a new gym here in Porterville. And what 2 months ago, a month ago?
Yeah, pretty much a month ago.
Yeah. So you opened up a new gym. So talk about it. What, obviously, what was your motivation for doing that? What's your goals with the gym, and kind of share for those that don't know, share your vision for the gym.
Well, like I've been working and I felt like I lost a purpose. When I just go into work every day, coming home. Like obviously I have my family and kids. That's a good purpose, but I lost I just didn't feel like, I don't know. I felt like I've gained so much information over the years, and I got so much knowledge in my head about fighting, and I needed to share that. I feel like people needed it. I could contribute to somebody's life, helping them. So that's kind of the motivation. And I thought, I was like, that's going to make me feel better. And it has, and now that I think about it, I think that's it's giving me some purpose, and then helping people and seeing them improve and trying now I'm just focused on helping people change their lives or for the better through martial arts, so that's my goal. I got a lot of stuff that I could share. I could impact people's lives. So
right.
That's the goal.
So, being a trainer, owning a gym, what's the thing what gets you most excited? Is it the little kids that are just joining wrestling, just getting into it? So what gets you up? What gets you most excited being a gym owner now?
Well, obviously seeing people improve and seeing people's, but I had a gym before and just seeing people's, you could impact somebody's life. I could change somebody's life by giving them more confidence and stuff like that. You see people, I've seen it before. I've helped change people's personalities through fighting. They get more confidence. They get, they look for better jobs. They start, getting more, getting more confidence. They know they could, achieve more things. So they'll start branching out more. And that's kind of what gets me excited, is to know some of these kids that I'm going to help that are 5 years old, I want to see where they're at when they're in high school.
Yeah.
I want to see them get a state championship, or I want to see them go to college, wrestle at a D1 school. Or I want to see them, go to the Olympics one day. That kind of stuff excites me. Thinking about the future too. All right, all this hard work that I'm going to put in on this person, I know where it's going to go if they stay with it, So that's what excites me. I want to see progress. It's going to excite me one day when we have a good group of people doing big things, and they're all coming from that gym. That's what excites me. That's what I'm excited about. That's why when I'm there, I'm happy. That's the place I'm happy at.
Yeah, it's a renewed drive, and like you'd said, hopefully, down the road you start seeing that end product, the results of all that hard work that was put in, the progression of those kids that you taught.
Even if they never accomplish crazy big goals inside, it's gonna help them outside the gym with their outside life. And I'm teaching kids self-defense, not just kids, adults too. And I'm giving people confidence, and where they can walk around more confident because they know they could defend themselves, or they've had through so many battles in the gym that they just get used to wins and losses in life. It helps them deal with life. So, yeah.
Yeah. And growing up in Porterville, in the community, there's a lot of kids, that struggle, whether they're going through tough situations, parents are divorced, or maybe they're not even living with their parents. And we see it in schools all the time, sports, whether it's football or wrestling or MMA, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, that's an outlet for a lot of kids, and it was an outlet for you as well. And that's what keeps a lot of kids focused and out of trouble as well.
Yeah. So exactly. That's a therapy. It's therapy. Martial arts are therapy. Even for me, like I said, I was pretty miserable those last 3 years without it. So and lately, I just feel alive again, and I just love being there. Your mind, when you're learning these moves, or if you're competing in the gym, rolling around, trying to choke somebody out or whatever, you're sparring, your mind's not thinking of all your problems outside the gym. You get your mind to relax, and it's a form of meditation. And yeah, it's been really good for me, and I know it's going to be good for a lot of people around here. It's going to help a lot of people out, and I'm excited about that, to give people a place to come to. So, yeah.
So what are your future goals? We kind of briefly talked about it, but, you talked about you're doing kids wrestling right now, and you have some other plans to bring more programs into the gym. So what are your kind of goals, and where do you see your gym and yourself kind of going forward?
Yeah, my future goals are just to keep helping out the community, bring more kids in, add more programs, and get that place pumping, and just seeing, like I said, just seeing these kids and adults, the progress through the years, and that's kind of just doing that, and hopefully I could do that one day full time and get some UFC fighters in there. If not, even I just want to have a good kids wrestling program too. I want to have a kids good boxing program. I want to send somebody to the Olympics from Porterville. I want to see a kid go to the Olympics in wrestling from Porterville, bring back a medal, like stuff like that. That's going to be in years. If I could do something like that would be amazing. And just help people over the years, just help them with life.
Right, and that's awesome. Just that you're doing that for these kids and for the community, because as being a state champ, Porterville is known for their wrestling, known for the the pedigree of the high school wrestling at Porterville, Wenatchee, and there's been a lot of state finalists and a few state champions that came out of here as well, and just the roots of it with like Tim Vanni and so many others that have came out of the lands from Wenatchee, and yourself as well. So one of the last questions I'll ask is, what would you tell these young inspiring kids who maybe want to have a career in MMA or wrestling? What does it take to be successful?
Yeah, just hard work and discipline. Like just putting in the work and just staying focused and staying disciplined, and giving yourself a routine and setting goals and sticking to it. Over the years, just really dedicating yourself, locking yourself into the gym or wherever you're at, like in a practice field, or if you're playing basketball in the gym in there, and just really focusing everything on it, and just not getting distracted, or not getting discouraged by friends or by family that tell you can't do something. You could do anything you want to do as long as you put your mind to it, and I'm proof of that. Tim Vanni's proof of that. You could reach any heights if you just focus and have that discipline and put in that work. It's a lot of hard work though, so you got to be ready to work. Things don't come easy. Great things don't come easy. Everything's work. You can't hide from it. You can't hide from work. There's no easy roads. If you want anything good, you got to work for it. I found that out in my life. Like, you can't escape hard work no matter what. Like, if you don't want to work hard at school, you're going to be working hard for somebody else later on in life.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to work hard. So, just put in the work to whatever, and find something you love and passionate about and that you want to work hard for.
Thank you. And one of the segments we have on every episode is the Freedom Fighter of the Week, and this is someone who's been influential in your life and helping you get to where you are today. So, Joe, who is your Freedom Fighter of the Week?
I got to say my dad. My dad's helped me out through the years and still continue to help me out with the gym and any way he can in life. So he's definitely, I could have done nothing without him, none of this without him. And like I said, he still continues to help me with little things here and there. And I would be, without him, none of this would have been possible.
And we obviously talked about your gym. So where can people follow you? Where could they, see what you're doing, and also visit and kind of check out your gym?
You can follow my page at Joe Soto 135. You want to find Joe Soto 135 on Instagram, or Joe Soto on Facebook, or you can follow our gym page, SinCal Sports and Fitness. It's on IG and Facebook too. The gym's located at 177 South Hawkett Street, and we're open every day at 6 p.m. The kids' classes are right now we're just doing wrestling. It'll be 5 o'clock every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So 177 South Hawkett Street.
All right, guys, go check it out. And again, Joe, I appreciate you coming on, taking the time to be here with us today. And thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We appreciate you and your support of the show. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave feedback on Apple Podcasts.